So Dream Agency is a film about a strange and slightly ramshackle agency that reenacts people's dreams for them, and about a woman that travels to, as a customer, to have one of her dreams reconstructed, and enjoys the experience so much, potentially too much, and so therefore decides to stay and become part of the company of performers that are reconstructing other people's dreams.
Yeah, the way we wrote the script was basically the script didn't exist until a month before we shot. Andy went out to Jersey to do a recce and was taken around by Art House Jersey to all of these amazing locations that we could use. So we had something like a kind of writer's room with different artists who we worked with, where we showed them all of these photographs of these locations, and we sort of started brainstorming, like, what could this film be? What could we shoot here? We did something that was a little bit like a game of Exquisite Corpse, where we went through all of the beats that you would typically have in a 3-act structure in a feature film, and each of those beats was assigned to a different artist who we worked with. So 16 different people wrote 16 different scenes, I guess, that, you know, maybe in a kind of Exquisite Corpse style could be something like a feature film. Of course, that was the first draft, and it was like complete mayhem. It was so wild, and there were definitely conversations between Ira, Andy, and I where we were like, what are we going to do? Do we just scrap all of this? And then in a kind of like fever dream, I spent a week turning it into, like, trying to take everybody's ideas and to turn it into one kind of overarching feature, and then Andy did the next draft of it, and then I did the next draft. So we sort of bounced back and forth. But it was, you know, the ideas in it were sort of written by this kind of hive mind. And that process didn't come together into something that would be shootable until a month before we shot. So it was a big challenge. And then, you know, once we had the script, we only had a month really to do a lot of preparation around, like, what costumes do we need? How many cast members do we need? We did a lot of work in a very short period of time.
We built ourselves some parachutes as well, though. So, like, we knew that this was going to have to be sort of slightly free-form, and so part of the reason why we had a lot of stuff in it, which is around people listening on headphones and cassette tapes and such like, was like, we can record all of that later and make it make sense with whatever we want, whatever the story ends up being. We can kind of build something out later once we know what we actually have. So. Yeah, we hopefully we weren't totally naive when we went in.
We were aware that there was, the parachute way is a good way to describe it.
It was so exciting to see it on a big screen. Like, this is the first time we've seen it on a screen of that size, and a lot of the film was shot outside. And in the landscape, in this beautiful landscape in Jersey. So, like, to see these beaches and the sea and the ocean up on the big screen was really exciting.
I think the story of how we made the film feels important to me. Like, obviously, I love the film, but I think that the process of how we made the film, I hope, is inspiring to other people who are filmmakers. And the script was also written collaboratively between 16 different people, so that was a pretty intense. We just tried process-wise to always do things a little bit differently. But the other thing I hope that they take away is, I hope they see the cast, that they see the performers, and just go, like, who are these amazing people? Because everybody in the cast, they're all pretty much working experimental performance or theater artists with really interesting practices of their own. So I'm excited that people will see, you know, Christopher Rhett Bailey or Gemma Painton or Vera Chalk, and then do a little bit of research on those people, because they're playing actors in this dream agency that makes people's dreams come true. But in real life, all of those people are artists, and I think that that's kind of a very cool metaphor. It's like they're kind of playing, I don't know, they're playing a metaphor of what they really do in their real lives.
I mean, also, just in terms of the actual film itself, like, I think and hope it's a film about, like, learning to exist in the world, and about, you know,
Yeah, like working through trauma, working through difficulty.
Giving up control, like giving up the idea that you can be in total control of your own destiny, and the idea that you can be in total control of your own dreams. I think the thing about, you know, the idea of making a film about people who are attempting to grasp and gain control and gain agency over their dreams. I mean, the film is called Dream Agency because of that sort of that play on an agency that reconstructs people's dreams, but also on the idea of having control over your dreams, and that itself is a fairly obvious. It could think about in much more expansive terms about the idea that, you know, we're always trying to kind of gain some mastery, some control over our world, and that actually what you need to do sometimes is just let go a bit, and hopefully people will take something of that from it as well.
Yeah, I also like the idea that part of it, I think, for me is that sometimes it's more fun to be in the play than to watch the play. And I think that, you know, any kind of theater kid knows that on some level, and I feel like Dream Agency is also about that. It's about the fact that there's the joy of being in the play versus watching the play.